This is John.
This is Carlos.
And you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. Your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands. With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today is an honor and privilege to have John and Carlos. They are from the band Livekill. They have a new EP, Turn to Gray, will be released on September 28th via SWOL Records, and we're going to have to talk to those guys about this. And there's quite an interesting thing with this album. And I'll get done talking to John about this, or Carlos on this, both these guys on this, actually. So, guys, how's it going?
Hey, man. Good to hear you. This is John with Livekill.
Good. How are you today, Carlos from Livekill?
Doing awesome. Glad to have you guys on here, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here, man. We're looking forward to an awesome interview. Listened to a lot of interviews, been checking them out. It's going to be fun.
I appreciate that, really do. So, You stumbled upon pictures from the bomb blast in Hiroshima that took the lives of many people in a matter of seconds of when the bomb went off. After seeing this, what was it for you that said, we need to name the EP after this, and how did you discover the story, more specifically the story of a 3-year-old boy who lost his life in the atomic bomb strike?
So this whole concept for Turn to Gray is Carlos and I, we had already recorded the music and tracked everything, and we were writing the lyrics and trying to figure out a concept for the song that we wrote. So I was on the internet, and I don't even know how it came across my phone, just swiping through stuff. And then I saw these pictures, these images of these shadows. And I just was thinking about who these people were. And, 15, 20, 30 minutes goes by, and I'm still thinking about them. And I said, you know what, this would be a really good topic to write a song about. So I brought it to Carlos, and I said, what do you think about this? Here's the whole thing. And, I don't want to write about war or nuclear bombs. I want to write about life, how quickly our lives go. Every moment counts, and so quickly you're gone. And this is all that's left of a real person. And Carlos ran with it. He was awesome. He took it. He's like, hey, that's a great idea. He wrote the vocals, did the lyrics, and it turned out really good. Did a great job.
Your thoughts on this, Carlos?
It was a little bit of a challenge for me to, actually sit down and read about it, and then be able to write and put it out there the way it was put. It was just like I said, I've written a lot, but never this way. Most of my writing's always been just quick. So to actually sit and take my time and write and make it mean something, so when people see it or hear it, they'll look into it.
So here's something crazy. I know this is an EP, but did this challenge you, Carlos? Actually doing this one?
Yes, it was definitely a challenge.
Yeah, when Carlos came to me with the vocals, we kind of structured things out, and we write it in Guitar Pro so we can move things around. And so when he came and he had the vocals, he had a verse, he had a chorus, he had a bridge. His chorus and verse, we actually reversed it, and it ended up working a lot better that way. Yeah. So when we reversed it and we laid it out and did all that, it just ended up working a lot better. And then the concept for it actually came from the artist, Elton Kanter. Elton Kanter we reached out to for the artwork on the album. And this was my concept for him. I explained the whole thing, and he loved it. He thought it was great. Elton Kanter's done work for Testament, Soulfly, Sodom. He's out there. He's done a lot of big bands, and I really like his artwork. So I gave him the concept, and after about a week, he came back, and he's like, look, I found this story about this kid. What do you think? And I was like, that's awesome. That's exactly what we're trying to get across. And so it was actually his idea to come up with the kid and the tricycle and his idea for the artwork.
And folks, I want to throw this out here. Just because this is an EP, there's still a lot of work that goes behind the scenes with this. Just because it's an EP, there's still a lot of work with this, as you guys went through.
Oh yeah. There's definitely the writing process. The writing process for us is a little bit different than most of the other bands around here. A lot of bands just kind of get together, they write their tunes in a band together as a group, and we really don't do that. Carlos and I, we sit down and we write the music. We structure it out. We figure out, what is it that we want to accomplish in the song, and we move things around. Yeah, and until we get something about 80, 90% right, and then we'll bring it back to the band and present it to the band as, here's the concept for the song, and here's what we're trying to do. we do a lot of pre-production to get to the point before we get to the band. And, you know, for me, it saves a lot of time with a group of 5 people all discussing everybody's different idea of what should happen, instead of having a focused idea of here's what we're going to accomplish in this song and get the idea done and bring it back to everybody. You know, a lot of people, hey, that's great. You don't waste everybody's time. You write the tune, you come back, you learn it as a band. I've had other people, hey, everybody needs to be in a room together writing music. And you know, everybody does things their different ways. But for us, this worked for us.
What's impressed you both the most about making the EP Turn to Gray? What's caught both of your guys' eye about, if anything, possibly?
The simplicity in the riffs and allowing the drums to make it heavy. And for me, writing the tunes and guitar, what really impressed me was Carlos's ability to write and record the vocals over what I played. You know, a lot of vocalists will come in and want to match the cadence of the guitar and the drums, and where Carlos really doesn't do that. He'll sing over the top of everything and shine over the top and tie riffs together by the vocals, which for me was just absolutely phenomenal.
It's backwards.
Yeah,
pretty much backwards.
So what was good for you?
What was good for me was just you know, the whole experience of the way we do things. It's like John kind of explained, you know, mostly bands just get together. That's normally how I did that a lot. And bands, other bands that I played with, it was always the bands getting together in the studio or warehouse and trying to write something. It just makes it easier the way we do it. You know, there's less, don't argue, you know, people, oh no, do it this way, no, do it that way. So it kind of, you know, it does make it's an experience, and it's actually, at first I thought it would be hard, but no, it's actually working out better for me this way. You know, having John send me music, I'll sit there, record some vocals to it, send it back to him, and that's pretty much how we work. And then we all get together and bust out the music.
Any songs off the new EP that stand out more to you guys, possibly? I mean, I know this is like picking your favorite kid or your favorite collectible or anything, but are there any that stand out for you on the EP, possibly?
Stands out for me on the EP is the song Demons. That song there, we're in the middle of doing a lyric video on that. So, you know, we write the music, Carlos writes the vocals, we play it, we record it. Now that we've done some lyric videos, I'm starting to actually read the lyrics as the music's going. The quality of what Carlos has written is really good. The lyrics, you know, I've looked at a lot of other bands and their lyric videos and read what they've written, and it just doesn't connect with me. But the way Carlos wrote the lyrics and how they come out, really good. I really like that song. I think the lyrics are really good, and when that gets released and you see it, I think you'll agree.
And I guess mine would probably be In This Moment. Would probably be the one that stands out, just because I feel like there's a connection there, what I wrote about. So I think that's the one that stands out the most for me. I think they're all good. I mean, I love every single song we've written so far, but that's the one that stands out the most for me. You
guys brought on Alistair Sims of Moto Sound. He's been with Rush, 3 Days Grace, produced and everything, to mix and master the EP, which took place at Villa Studios in Canada. Did he produce the album, or did you guys do it? Let's talk about that a little bit.
I got hooked up with Alistair. Actually, there's a couple of people that helped me out with that we worked together with on this album. So when I wrote all the guitar riffs and I wrote the music and Carlos wrote vocals to that, you know, we had some programmed drums in there for the sound that we wanted. And then I hooked up with Kevin Talley from DOS, Chimera. Awesome drummer. Love Kevin. I sent him the tunes and did the whole thing with him on him recording and sending drum tracks back to me, live recorded drums. And then with Alistair Sims is really good with vocal engineering. So him being able to mix and master and send the files up to him and have him mix and master and come back, I think really did a good job shining it to sound like something you'd want to hear on the radio, not sounding like a local band production, that it actually has a good worldwide quality to what we're trying to do. So Carlos's other band, you know, and maybe I'll lead you into this little, Carlos, is like, have you ever worked this way where we're sending files to Texas, we're sending files to Canada, back and forth? Like how did that work for you? Like, what did you think your vocals, what Alistair did to him?
I think he did an amazing job on everything that he worked on. I think he did great. As far as my vocals, I was very happy. I didn't even think it was me. I thought it was somebody else. But yeah, he did a great job. So yeah.
And a lot of local bands, when I let them listen to what we got, I usually get the same thing back on how everything is really, you can hear all the detail in the notes between the guitar, the drums. There's no clutter in there. Everything comes through really well.
Everything is clear. He did an amazing job.
Yeah, we're really fortunate to find him and work with him. Great experience.
And it's cool now these days you do have that opportunity to work from home or wherever you're at and send files back and forth. And, it's kind of a luxury for you guys who can't get up and meet from state to state all the time,
It definitely broadens the horizon and gets you out of your local market, your local scene, and getting fresh ears to hear your music and make it the best it can be. So working with Kevin and working with Alistair was unexpected and just great.
It's scary. I was scared.
Why?
I was like, those guys,
Oh, yeah, big names work,
It's just the names alone kind of freaked me out a little bit, but we got comfortable as time goes. You get comfortable.
Yeah, dealing with them. They're just normal guys like us, and just trying to get a job done and trying to make it the best it can be, and hoping we're happy with what they do.
Yeah, exactly. How long did it take to record the EP, guys? How long did it take you all full process with all this?
About a year, maybe a little over a year from start to finish between 4 songs. There's more songs, but what we did was we picked out the 4 strongest songs and we went with that. When to track everything and write everything and get it to where we wanted, and send it to Kevin and make sure it was good, send it to Alistair, make sure it's good, and him sending them back and forth and making adjustments to get it exactly what we wanted. About a year, a little over a year.
Now, you were talking about the artist Elton Kanter earlier. Working with him on this, you said it was pretty easy with him, but how long did it take him to come up with the idea that you were wanting actually for this album cover?
For him to even respond to me and say, I love your idea, I want to work with you, was great. And a little intimidating for me too, because he's worked with such awesome bands. So when he hit me up and he loved the idea, it took about a month or so for him to get back to me and put me on the schedule. And he had actually come up with a couple ideas and he sent them to me. And I really liked the story of the 3-year-old with the tricycle and the whole thing with his father and burying him and donating the tricycle back to the museum. I really felt like people in general could connect with that. There's a story there. There isn't just listening to the song and then you're moving to the next song. You could look it up, you could read about this, you could watch the video, see the lyric video, see who this person was. And Elton found the story. We ran with it. He did an awesome job on the artwork, and he brought out all the emotion in the song that I was looking for in the artwork.
I tell you, it really took me by surprise when I read that about the little child. You think that, everything is hunky-dory, but yet this is a thing that actually happened, and yes, this took many lives, but to take, what happened to that little kid and many others, it's just insane to even think that we would do that,
That's the response that I get, from a lot of people is when they ask what the song is about, and I explain it to them, and then they'll look it up and they'll call me the next day or when I see them again, they're like, wow, how did you even write about that? What it's just cool to get that response from people, and be able to tell them, well, this is what the song is about. Even though I think people take songs, their lyrics their own way, I guess. But when you explain it to them what it's really about, they're like, wow, I had no idea. I thought it was about this. And no, it's not.
Yeah. My thought was this with the artwork. People hear so much music all day long. What's going to stick with them at the end of the day? What are they going to remember? They heard this, they heard that. They're on their drive home, the rush hour. They heard 30 bands on the ride home. What are they going to remember? I was trying to capture something that would make an impression that they're done with their day, they're going to bed, you have those last few thoughts before you go to sleep, and this image just pops in your head that you fall asleep thinking about it. That was my goal.
Yeah, I've thought about this ever since I read this press release in your bio on it. I was like, holy crap. I mean, it stuck with me. I couldn't believe... I couldn't imagine being a father or a mother and have to bury your own child and dig them up and then, and he donated, like you said, the tricycle to the Science Museum of the Hiroshima. I much respect to that man for doing that, because that's I couldn't do it. There's no way. Yeah,
it's definitely a huge impact, and when Elton posted this on his webpage, I think I saw one post on there that said, wow, that's a touchy subject using a kid. You know, it's not using a kid. It's a real story of a real child that this happened to them.
Right.
And remember, it's not about war. It's not about nuclear bombs. It's about life. It's about making every moment count. In a second, you could be gone.
1 minute we're here, and the next we're not.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're not guaranteed the next 20 minutes, guys. So, you know.
Yep. So gotta make it count.
How much growth musically have you seen this band and yourselves go through up to the release of this new EP, or has it just been more of a personal growth for each of you guys in this?
In the last 2 years that we've been working on this, a full solid year we've been working on it, we haven't really pushed too much. You know, we really didn't want to have anything out there until we were ready to release everything. So in the last month, we really started pushing. So from about a month ago till now, the growth has been tremendous. We've had a tremendous response from all over the world. And what the crazy, like people from Nepal, they are like metal fans like you wouldn't believe. You think these Buddhist monks in Nepal, crazy, but I get so many emails and text messages from all the people there that they just absolutely love metal. They love what we do. And not only them, but South America, huge metal scene. You know, and Carlos is from Uruguay, and he gets a lot of Spanish people sending him messages. When are you coming? We love you guys. We love what you're doing.
That's awesome.
It's just, it's really cool to see from all over the world. People really like it, the messages. So to go from nobody knows who we are a month ago to where we are now, the amount of views we've had on our videos on Facebook, it's
to waking up and seeing a bunch of messages on your phone like nonstop, you know, here talking about our music, telling us they love our stuff. Yeah, it's really a cool feel. It feels good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So here's something cool, Carlos. Do you get a lot of requests of doing your guys' music in a different language, possibly from where you're at or from where you're from?
Not really, but.
So I can interrupt with this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what I'm going to say.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, you know, everyone in the band we speak English except Carlos. Carlos is from Uruguay.
Right.
And so he came in and he asked me, he goes, "Hey, do you care if I write and sing anything in Spanish?" And I'm like, "Fuck no. Do it. We love it. I don't care what you do. As long as it sounds killer, freaking do it." And so we got a couple of songs, nothing on the EP, but we got some other songs and they're dope as fuck. They're awesome. I can't wait to get those in there and put a couple singles out, and it's absolutely great. So how did you feel when I said, "Yeah, man, do it"?
I was like happy. I was like, yes, I finally get to do that, you know? Yeah. Because like I said, it's where I'm from. I'm from South America, and I feel that could be a way to connect with them as well. You know, there's a lot of people out there that they listen to the music, they don't understand really what the vocalist is saying, you know, because they can't, you know, they're not from here. So I felt like if I did a little bit of Spanish, I could connect more with the Latin community.
And, you know, there's a lot of great music from over there, and not just speaking of metal, I mean, just traditional music.
Right.
So I dig that too. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we had our show, and we had some friends there, and they didn't know. And Carlos was singing one of our tunes called Mentirosa in Spanish. And the girlfriend looked over at my buddy, and he's like, "Is he singing it in Spanish?" And he was like, "Fuck yeah." And all of a sudden, you took this hip-hop girl, and now she was into the metal because he was singing Spanish. She
became a metalhead.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's cool. That is cool. Changing lives day by day.
Yeah, changing lives by metal.
There you go. Yeah. Guys, what can fans expect at a show from Livekill who have not got to see you live as of yet?
For our live performance, it goes back to us writing the tunes. When we wrote the music, Carlos and I, we spent like a year. We went to a lot of local shows, looking at everything, looking at what's going on. What are the bands playing? What are people moving to? And the one thing that we noticed is all the bands coming through, national acts, local bands, they're all playing at the same clubs, the same sports bars. They're all, and I don't want to say shitty PAs, but the PAs aren't like playing a stadium. And a lot of the sound, it's muffled and mixed, and you can't really hear how good these bands are playing. So when we wrote the songs, we wrote them to where the songs will sound good on a crappy PA as it will sound on a good PA. So our music will move the back of the house as much as it'll move the front of the house. So when you come to see one of our shows, it's going to sound awesome. It's going to sound phenomenal. You're going to hear real guitars being played, and we have a lot of energy. We got in this moment, video just came out, and that's a real good example of how much energy we got on stage. And it'll definitely project out to the crowd. You're going to feel it.
Get ready to move when you go to our shows.
What made you both want to become a musician? What was that spark for each of you?
I didn't want to be a painter. No, it was just, you know, I think music has helped me a lot in, you know, certain situations of my life. And I think that what made me want to do this is me be able to help out other people as well. But, you know, through my music, maybe my lyrics, or, you know, maybe they're having a bad day, or, you know, they listen to the song, the lyrics might help them out. You know, going back to like that song, In This Moment, that's about a really good friend of mine that I grew up with, who actually committed suicide. And he was actually, you know, before Livekill, he was actually one of my last drummers one of the guys that played drums for me last. And, you know, that's what pushed me to do the song. And, you know, and hopefully I can help, I guess, people through my music, you know, instead of them, you know, wanting to take their life. Hopefully they listen to to what I'm writing about, and it gets their mind away from where it's at.
Yeah, we have a lot of positive messages in the music. For me, I just love the sound of the guitar. When you hit that chug and you start riffing on the guitar, and we start playing and we practice and we play shows, all that aggression, all that frustration, everything, it just comes out. And by the time you're done playing the show, you're soaking wet. You're so relieved. It's like, you always hear like musicians say it's the best drug ever, going on stage and playing. For me, that's why I'm a musician. I want to play live. I want to play in front of people and get it out and make people move.
Plus, I got a lot of energy, so I think the music helps me out a lot, especially playing live. You definitely won't see me standing in one spot.
Yeah. The crazy thing with Carlos, what can you see us live? Don't look for Carlos standing in the front of the stage. That motherfucker would be up on a corner standing on 3 speakers tall and jump down on people. He's crazy. You gotta look in the corner. I look around, you know, I'm focusing on pedals and guitar. I look around, where the fuck is Carlos?
It's funny because when we're playing shows, you see people's heads moving from left to right.
There's something to crawl up and get on top of. He's there.
I'll be there.
That's what makes a show, guys.
Yeah.
Is there any show or a moment that stands out more to you guys than any possibly that you both can recall saying, you know, hey, this is well worth what we're doing. This is well worth the time spent?
Yeah. So we played a metal festival down in Miami back in February. And after the show, we got done. You know, you're soaking wet, you're tired. You put all your effort into it and you get done. And as you're walking around, you hear people talking about your band. And you hear, you know, they don't know you're in the band. You're just walking around and you hear them saying, man, I love that band. I'm definitely going to go see those guys again. That for me it just makes you want to get out there and do it again.
But just hearing somebody, you know, even before you play, hearing people say, oh, you know, I can't wait to see Livekill. They're really good. They're a really good band. So, you know, it's walking around and hearing people say that. Even like I said, before we play, it's really cool, you know. And then that's when, you know, you introduce yourself and you connect with people. You know, I see a lot of local bands. They just walk around. You know, sometimes they think they're a little more than what they are. Man, I like to hang out. I like to meet people. I like to connect with the people who listen to my music. So yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like to see bands, national or locals, come out and mix it up with the crowd. I mean, you're all there for the same reason. You know, some can play, some can't play music. So that's why they're there to see you guys.
Right.
Yeah. So the other night, the Suicide Silence Attila, they were playing a show here. So Carlos and I, we made up some flyers. We were out there handing them out to people, trying to get people to come out to our shows.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, we're the only ones there. Ain't nobody else there handing out flyers. We're the only ones handing out flyers, handing out guitar picks with logos on them, talking to people. And we ended up meeting this guy from South America. He's a radio host. And he loved it. He thought it was great. So it's just, you never know who you're going to run into or talk to.
Yeah.
Just trying to get your stuff out there.
Folks, Livekill, new EP will be released September 28th via SWOL Records, and you want to get out and check these guys out. Guys, how can folks stay in touch with you all? Buy some merchandise, tour dates, things like that, new EP, how can they do that?
Go to Facebook, look us up, Livekill Band. Can't miss us. We actually just got some really badass designs for new T-shirts we're going to be getting made this coming week. Check them out. They came out really awesome.
It's crazy. People are already
orders. Yeah. We just put the design up and taking pre-orders. We got like 30 already sold. without even placing one order yet. So the designs are really badass. You got to check them out. Bandcamp, you can check us out there. You can find us when it's released. You can get us on Spotify and all the streaming places we're going to be on. If you go to Amazon, you can pre-order. I do believe iTunes and Apple Music you can pre-order. So it's available. Anywhere out there, we're on it.
Before I let you guys go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Sure, absolutely. This is John.
This is Carlos.
And you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only have these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thank you guys so much.
That was awesome, bro. Thank you.
Much.